Health, the holy resource of Soulknight. Your main goal during a run, regardless of the character or skill chosen, is to avoid losing health as much as possible. Most characters barely have a handful, healing is incredibly scarce, and all health increasing buffs are either have debuffs associated or take space that could have gone to better buffs. No matter what, you have to do everything in your power to avoid losing health. Characters that can't regenerate health on their own either have insane damage to kill enemies faster than they can kill them, defensive tools to tank the damage, or iframes to avoid getting hit altogether. Characters that can regenerate health are often restricted by lack of damage and other utility, or have to fly real close to the sun in order to get it. Suffice to say, the scarcity of healing and the limited HP of most characters ensure the severity of losing health becomes a drive for players to get better, regardless of their playstyle or their skill/character choice. But one character decided, very early on mind you, that he doesn't want to play by that rule. He decided that health isn't a resource, isn't a restraint, it's a cosmetic bar. And so, decked out in its color, the vampire tossed that rule aside and decided to cheat. Having numerous tools to heal himself while also providing utility and tankiness, the vampire is not like any character before or after him. Having to sacrifice basically nothing to gain that health advantage, the vampire flips the norm and plays by his own rules in a way that feels both cheap and entertaining as hell. He basically goes through like 13 or 14 health bars in a single game, while watching other characters lose 2 health points and just go,
"My time has come. Whoever holds this long stick is gay."
What the fuck? What?
You were always my nigga.
I was always... What?
So today, let's cover the Soulknight character that cheats the system, and treats health more like an ammo than an actual mechanic. Oh, right. We should probably address that. Yeah, so pretty much everything I said and will say is kind of the same story with the custom pets and his third skill. But that skill is so fundamentally flawed and out of place in this game that I don't think it's a valid talking point against any other design choice in it. Besides, I've already made like a 20-minute video about him and almost half of that is about that skill, so if you're interested about him, go check it out. But for the purposes of this video, I'll be ignoring the existence of this skill. Again, it's just too flawed to consider it a regular factor. And another smaller elephant I need to discuss is that I am not the best vampire player. And so I decided to contact a local vampire main to help me out. And who's better than the vampire main I talk about a little bit here and there around the channel, you might have heard about him. Please welcome Zed, finally showing up on the channel.
Greetings everyone, I'm Zed Forzoma aka Zed. I've been a vampire main pretty much since he came out and I burned a whole forest worth of vouchers before buying him in 2020. Anyways, I'm really looking forward to sharing my experience with all of you guys.
Alright, so now that we caused that elephant extinction, let's actually talk about the vampire. The vampire is a tank character with 4 hearts, 5 armor, and 140 energy. He has the lowest amount of energy in the game shared with the paladin.
Rev up those fryers, cause I am sure hungry. Help! Help!
And man, do you feel it. You run out so fast in the early and the late game. Basically, get ready to need a large energy potion every time you clear a room.
Energy conservation is key when playing the vampire thanks to his low energy pool. And due to the low energy pool, maining him requires you to have good game and weapon sense, and to always follow my golden tip of having a melee weapon in your offhand at all times. And most importantly, to stop shooting your weapon when there are no enemies.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Oh yeah, and both your starter and skills do help a bunch with your energy problem here.
Before we dive in more about his starter though, let's talk about his passive first. His passive is the health orb buff, which by the way lost all its aura in the weird rework they gave it. Seriously, what was the point of that? It's literally the exact same, it's just minus a mile delay. Why? Defeating enemies has a chance to drop a health orb that goes to you no matter how far away you are, healing you for exactly 1 health. It's a pretty difficult passive to get consistent value out of, to be honest. It's good, don't get me wrong, it feeds into the vampire cycle of constantly using up and restoring health, but man, when it's needed, it feels like it never shows up. It's actually pretty rare to even find moments in the footage where the passive popped up enough to put it in the video, and that's how inconsistent it is. Maybe I'm just unlucky, or maybe, just maybe, the passive never existed in the first place.
You're gonna die.
Not today, asshole. See, you hallucinating.
Huh? What?
That being said, I don't think anyone is complaining to have the buff. It's a chance at healing no matter what stage of the game it is. It's clearly doing something right. His starter is the Crimson Wine Glass, one of the most underrated weapons in the game. I already spoke a bunch of it in the tips for every character video, but I like it enough that I'm going to be giving it its own section again. It deals 4 damage, which sounds underwhelming, but when it crits, it spawns a bat that deals 5 damage, then returns to the vampire. Every couple of bats return to the vampire, restore a health point if he's missing any, or energy if he's not. And since a good vampire player will basically never run out of health while attacking, this basically means that this weapon will periodically pay for its own energy cost given enough time, negating the vampire's low energy as previously discussed. This weapon can also be consumed via its secondary fire, either restoring health if you're missing any, which... why would you do that?
Please just hear me out, please.
And if you're at full health, it'll instead increase your maximum health by 1, promoting you from a prince to an assassin, which is huge.
Ah yes, this thing. My favorite. A tip I have here for you is if you're not under any pressure, use your skill to stay at full health as often as you can, so the bats spawned from your crits grants you energy to pay for the weapon's price and manage your low energy pool. Also, side note here, I love how the bats change depending on the used skins here. I just really wanted to point that out. Anyways, I also want to point out that this thing becomes nasty when you pair it with the first skill and the mentor buff. The bats will now lower enemy defense, so if you find the mentor and you're using the first skill, I'd say you actually hold on to the Crimson Wine and use it as a defense reduction tool while your skill is on cooldown. And finally, if you're in co-op mode and you're confident enough in your vampire gameplay, you might want to leave it to your teammates here. They too can use it when at full health and increase their max HP, which is huge for other characters like the Priestess for example.
Yeah, I basically never let go of it in the early game to save on energy and consume it in the beginning of War 2. Unless, you know, the game has other plans for the monsters.
Pointers! That's not regulation!
Street rules, man.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Seriously, I had monsters so fucked up, someone tried to no-clip to get out. So far, the vampire has two ways of self-healing already. Granted, they are relying on RNG, but because all his skills heal him, this just feels like a good extra in-between cooldowns and such. Especially the starters increase maximum health. That shit is just amazing. But the true reason this character cheats is his skills, so let's look at them now. The vampire's first skill is Bat Swarm. The vampire releases 9 bats that swarm around him and attack nearby enemies before returning to him, each dealing 5 damage for a total of 45 damage. Every other bat returned to the vampire after it attacks will restore health if he's missing any, or energy. It also has a chance to restore armor. Basically, it's an AoE effect of his starter weapon. Or is his starter weapon a weaker effect of his skill? I don't know. Either way, this is the main thing I mean when I say this character cheats. This skill is excellent offensively because it covers a large area, auto-tracks, and deals very respectable damage, and even has potential to stack on a single target by the way, and it also restores energy. Meaning that while it's meant to be used defensively to maintain HP, there's actually very little downside to using it offensively, unlike other healing skills where getting any benefit of them requires you to be on low on health. You can just use the vampire skill for damage and it's fine, you don't have to use it for healing. The cooldown may seem like a massive deal and force you to use it wisely, but really 6 seconds isn't that big of a deal. It's actually shorter than the Assassin's Dark Blade at 9 seconds. Granted, you have to wait for the bats to attack, making the cooldown between heals longer, but still. It's also worth mentioning that the cooldown is reduced if some of the bats don't attack, and thanks to their easy yet to predict range, you can actually use this to your advantage to kinda heal and reduce cooldown. It's actually a pretty good strategy to top yourself off while still having bats in the chamber. And you know what? Forget figurative cheating. How about actual cheating? You can also cheat in the room itself by staying behind cover and using the bats since their fuck asses ignore walls for some reason. Using this skill gives such a huge boost in confidence, it's insane. I mean, do you know how much a skill gotta be reliable that you skip the fucking paladin statue, or the priestess, or play like a complete fucking waste man with Bex for fingers?
For all its weaknesses, Bat Swarm is a pretty solid skill. The best tip I can give here is pre-firing your skill just like the witch's first skill, so that you don't get a face full of red bullets while casting the skill at low HP. Also, those golden crystal mines do make a tasty light snack if you ask me. And while we're here talking big game about the vampire and his healing, the cooldown of the skill is very important to play around, so you need to up your dodging game since we all know that your passive won't be passiving enough to help you if you don't have your skill nor starter at the ready. Another tip here is to fish for the shotgun buff, or have a binary tree in your garden, since with it you get 4 more bats, which is 2 extra instances of healing or energy restoration. And that is pretty big for when you're constantly taking damage from elemental effects. And like overall though, this skill is reliable enough so that you basically never have to worry about gambling your life away with your pesky wait a minute!
So yeah, with consistent damage, short cooldown, great healing, and the availability of using the skill offensively and defensively, and its ability to also restore energy, this single skill allows the vampire to bend Soulknight's rules pretty easily. Funnily enough, this is actually his weakest skill out of the 3, so let's check out the other powerhouses. The vampire's second skill is called Alien Swirl, which basically confirms that this guy is actually an alien and not a vampire, by the way, and nobody's talking about it. Like, he has a reflection, he drinks garlic juice just fine.
This some serious gourmet shit.
He hangs out with the priestess and somehow she's not trying to kill his old ass. Like, imagine how that would go in real life. Anyways, he throws a projectile that turns into a black hole, pulling enemies and dealing damage to them while healing the vampire if he's missing health or restoring energy if he's not. We're going to be saying that a lot. The black hole lasts 3 seconds and the skill cooldown is 9, meaning that if it doesn't miss, it basically has the same cooldown as his first skill. Again, if it doesn't miss.
Bro, you're trash, bro.
Unfortunately, missing it is surprisingly not a hard thing to do despite the 3-tile radius. It gets thrown pretty weak, like the vampire is trying to outdo that one dumbass kid, so missing it happens often. Unless, you know, monsters just spawn right next to it. The black hole can also suck enemy bullets, which is pretty fun. It's even funnier when monsters just get trapped and try to shoot you but can't because of the pole. And it works even better against chargers because they just waltz right in. Mainly though, the healing on it is pretty nice since if it hits a group, it's like a health buffet. Using this skill basically guarantees that you don't ever lose health you can't heal back up. Its healing is so guaranteed that you essentially won't lose health. In fact, the only reason you'd lose health is, surprisingly, treason.
Son, I'm very disappointed in you. But as long as you're safe, that's all that really matters.
Thanks, Dad.
But one more thing.
Yes, Dad?
Alien Swirl is one of the most versatile skills in the game and is really underrated in my opinion, and the best tip I can give here is to get AoE or crowd control weapons when using it, to benefit from the CC it provides. Even though keeping monsters alive does get you more healing, killing them is preventing their damage, so it's essentially the same thing. Buffs like the melee reflect and the lower charge time are good synergy with the skill, since the reflect buff makes the bullets that reach the center of the black hole be reflected, and the charge buff reduces the orb's interval by half, from 1 second to 0.5. And when it comes to co-op mode, this skill becomes insane if you pair it with any heavy damage build like 3rd skill Assassin, 1st skill Berserk, or a Sword Master. It's called the Group 'em Shoot 'em strategy.
I also want to add that this skill is such a middle finger to Valk Leader. It keeps him in place so he can't reach any poison pools and get his iframes. Bro, this skill deadass cocks a boss, it's so funny. Although coming back to the whole killing them early gives them less healing thing, when you do actually need healing, it makes it kinda awkward to attack enemies. In fact, it feels like in this situation the game wants you to just throw it on the side and forget about them. While I did just praise its healing a lot, unfortunately it does give healing on ticks, so it is kind of inconsistent, but because it just hits multiple enemies and again you can use it for utility and not necessarily just for the healing, it's overall a pretty good skill. And while it is pretty amazing all things considered, it has a ton of utility, healing, and translates window damage. If you miss it, it immediately becomes one of the most clunky abilities in the game. So, you know, don't miss. The vampire's 3rd skill is... Actually, wait, no, it's Immortal. Yeah, so, okay. Yup, it does what it says on the tin can. When used, you become literally immortal for 3.5 seconds. Enemies hitting you will not only heal you and restore energy during that state, but it will also overheal you. This skill is so insane, it competes with a bunch of newly added skills, like having your own game mode to make yourself stronger as the game progresses. Cool, but have you tried literally not fucking dying? There isn't really much to say about this skill. Even Zed is sitting this one out, cause this skill is pretty easy to understand. It's really just that good. You gain energy back pretty easily even if you're missing health, which is a feature not in any of his other skills or the starter. You're invincible, so you can use it to tank damage, and unlike other skills that lose out on healing if you use that full health, even though that's not a super bad trade, this one still rewards you with overhealth. And the overhealth can be pretty fucking stupid sometimes, like bro, what is this? Although if you don't end up getting overheal from the skill because the monsters decided to be stormtroopers that day, or you just suck like yours truly, make sure you don't poison yourself like an idiot like again yours truly.
Bro,
Fun fact, you can get healing from this skill by taking any damage, including falling down pits apparently. This skill is just so versatile, so free, so rewarding to use, that I decided to disrespect the game and just drink water at full HP. Its only downside is, yeah, 11 seconds is pretty rough, especially when you haven't scaled it or use it at a bad time. You almost don't want to shoot enemies during it to keep them alive, so they keep hitting you and you get overheal. But that means pretty much alive enemies are waiting to jump you after the skill is over. Yeah, sure, it deals a wave damage after the fact, but it doesn't deal enough damage. And if you don't take any hits because the monsters are just that bad at aiming, it doesn't even spawn, like, it's that inconsistent. If you mistime it and end up putting it on cooldown before the wave hits and you didn't get overheal, prepare for coronavirus 2 because you're about to be made into Batsuit. It's seriously that punishing if you mess up, but... The duration and cooldown of the skill stop it from being broken really, but I really don't think I should have survived this room with the way I played, to be honest. Overall, Vampire's immortality is 3.5 seconds of immortality with overheal. Like, realistically speaking, that sentence was just enough to justify everything. And it costs gems, mind you. Just what a perfect little skill. Essentially, the reason I call this character a cheat is because of how expendable health is to him. The vampire is able to play in a variety of playstyles which all massively benefit from him dismissing enemy damage entirely. Not only that, but he's also capable of dealing a decent amount of auto-aim damage, trap enemies, and go head-on into bullet hell no problem, regardless of his playstyle and buff choices. Unlike other characters who are weighed down by a need to get defensive buffs, constant potions, defensive stats, and armor, the vampire will jump into the UFO's drone butt naked with 6 swords. Even if he consumes his starter early and doesn't even get healed once by his passive, the consistent healing of his skills alongside the various other uses make him incredibly sustainable and able to play in any way he wants really. He bypasses a lot of the rules and restrictions that Soulknight put on other characters. Yes, he's undeniably power crept by other characters these days, but even these guys have to respect the amount of health that they have and look for potions. Except for that one, the vampire will see he's at 1 health and just keep playing the way he always does. That's not entirely a bad thing, mind you, but it does make this extremely powerful character, in my opinion, a sort of cheat between other heroes, which despite not being a gem character actually kind of makes him a great choice for beginners.
Yeah, the vampire is a great character to play a lot as a new player to help you learn important lessons like energy management, learning what weapons work for what situations, and learning enemy attack patterns with a much lower risk of a game over, given that you have a strong self-healing kit. Vampire is a character I always find great joy in both playing and finding him as an NPC in 3.5. Energy aside, his stats are not that bad actually if you want to play him more or even main him like me.
And that's where the vampire stands, an amazingly powerful character with all the tools he needs to stand on his own in any way he wants, regardless of his HP, regardless of the room, and regardless of how bad the enemy wants him dead. Thanks for watching. I know it's been over 3 months since my last upload, but finals, college, lack of motivation, and a lot of personal stuff happened that it weighed me down. But hopefully after this video I get more consistent at uploading.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
But for real though, I thank you all for the amazing and constant support. It feels nice still being encouraged by you guys despite the absence, and I really appreciate all of you. Huge thanks to Zed for appearing in this video as well. He finally showed up instead of just being a behind the scenes guy.
Thank you for having me today, Spectra. I'm really glad and grateful that I've been a part of this journey in both Soulknight and here on the channel as help in making the videos and as a comic relief.
Thanks again for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Be on the lookout for more videos to come, and I'll see you again soon.
Thank you again, Spectra, for hosting me today, and I'll see you again one day.